beautiful black mink coat and raccoon trim, transformed into a throw and a pillow. Let's deconstruct the coat. Remove the lining first. Remove all the clasps. Removing the pocket here, and the pockets have leather trim. It's very, very pretty. But this coat had lots of sawdust in it. What's interesting about this coat is that the sleeve is very different than the actual body of the coat. The sleeve mink is very, very thick. And I didn't use it in the main body of the throw, and I used it as part of the pillow instead. So you'll see that coming up later. This lining here I'm going to be using on the inside of the pillow later on. It's a silk lining. Here's the second sleeve. As you can see, again, it's pretty thick. It also has a raccoon that's at the top of the sleeve. We'll see if I could incorporate that later. Now it's time to remove the raccoon trim that goes all the way around the coat and through the collar area. The raccoon is very, very light and it's beautiful and soft, but boy does it have a lot of flyaway. The hairs were just everywhere. Here I am making the straight cuts, and because the bottom of the coat flares out and I really want a nice flat rectangular throw, I'm going to cut as many straight pieces as I can to make the largest throw possible. I use my ruler As a guide, that ruler is 8.5 inches in width. And I cut off any excess or damaged fur. And I will clip pieces that need to be repaired on the fur machine below. I'm also writing down the length of each piece so I know if I have to add an additional piece on the bottom as well. The smaller pieces are going to be cut straight as well, and then those pieces are going to be combined to make additional pieces that will fit the bottom of the length that has already previously been cut. Again, all repairs will be done on the fur machine. I have to say I really love this part because it's like putting a jigsaw puzzle back together again. If you like making puzzles, you'll love doing this type of work, or quilting as well. Again, here I'm measuring the lengths. Here I'm working on the fur machine, and what you do is you sandwich your two pieces of fur together. You line them up on the discs, and the needle, instead of going up and down, goes forward and back in this case, and it creates an overlock stitch, tucking the hairs in as you go along. This machine is very old, but you could see it really does a nice, beautiful stitch. After the fur comes off the fur machine, I'm going to take a roller and I'm going to press down on those seams that I just made to make them as flat as possible. And here I have both layers of the trim and the main body of the quilt together. Next up, let's work on the backing. Well, the backing was already removed from the jacket, and now I'm going to deconstruct or take apart the lining itself, and the lining is also filled with lots and lots of sawdust. Once this is done, I'm going to take all those pieces and I'm going to put them in a bath of water. I want to remove any agents that might be on the backing itself. Once that's done, I'm going to then piece together the best that I can to get the maximum amount of fabric that I can to make a big backing. Most of the time I do have to add additional backing to the back of the throw. Here I'm using my press to now press down the dried backing material, and as you can see, I am using some batting on the sides to prevent any damage to the backing material. Once all the pieces are together, I then take it down to my long arm machine and I layer it with my batting and then the top itself, and with a generic quilting motif that runs through the backing. Here's what the batting looks like on the other side. I'm going to take that backing and I'm going to layer it with right sides together. I clip them and then I put it through my domestic sewing machine, and sewing the sides all the way around, and I'm going to leave an opening so this way I can turn it. Here I am just tucking in the fur, as you can see, just tucking it in along the way. There's the opening, all clipped, and then I have to hand sew it closed. And here we have the completed throw with the trim all the way around and the backing with the original labels. And now we're going to go and work on the pillow. These are the sleeves that we were talking about earlier. There is a difference between the two shoulder caps. One fur is actually slightly darker than the other. So now what I'm going to have to do is measure out a nice rectangle with the main fur, which is going to be the darker, shinier fur. And then I am going to cut strips to add to the outside of the main part of the pillow. It's going to be slightly lighter on the sides and the top. I'm going to make those pieces approximately 2 inches each and then just add them on to make a 16 by 16 pillow. I'm also going to be adding on the trim from the raccoon pelt. It's going to look really pretty when it's finished. Okay, here I am clipping the different colored strips to the main body of the pillow. To get an idea of how much of the raccoon pelt I'm going to need, I'm just going to take them and just kind of put them around and see what I can come up with. Because the main mink was so thick, I ended up sewing the pieces together on my old Singer hand crank machine, and I'm going to later bring it down to the fur machine and just finish it off there. But the main part, because I really want it to hold together, I don't want it to fall apart, I'm going to use a leather thread, and I like the control with my Singer machine. top and bottom are now done. What I'm doing is I'm tucking in the fur pieces together. What I have is a lightweight fusible interfacing on the back of the lining, but not on the back of the fur. I attached the interfacing to a lightweight, almost like a silk cloth, to protect the fur underneath. Now to attach it all together. And here is the completed pillow with matching throw. And that's the back of the pillow. And here's the before and after. Come visit us at dinahsquilts.com.